Okay. Hello everybody and welcome to the War Room. This one is for this weekend's UFC main event. Alexa Grasso taking on Viviane Araujo. Okay, so on one side you've got Alexa Grasso, 14-3, Viviane Araujo, 11-3. Similar record, slightly more experience for Alexa Grasso. She's also got a more mature way of fighting about her, I would say. There's a bit of an aggressive hard-headedness about Viviane, which she might pay for in this one, especially with it being a 5-round fight. Height and reach, so Alexa Grasso's an inch taller, but then Araujo's got a 2-inch reach advantage, mainly because she's got quite broad shoulders, and she really utilizes that reach well as well, even though she likes to walk herself into her opponent's range. Now, both of these ladies have got a good striking output, but they differ when it comes to accuracy and defense. So Grasso's got a slightly lower striking accuracy, but I think the thing that's working against her is the fact that she's got quite a, she uses a lot of feints and she's got quite a loose style. She's got quite a nice boxing style. She's comfortable switching stances. She works the lead leg really well as well, regardless of which stance her opponent's in. One thing I will note, though, is if you watch the Macy Barber fight and you notice where the bruising is on her leg, it's really quite high up on the leg. And the reason I mention that is because, well, the result of the kick is different. It does bruise the muscle, it does deaden the leg, but it takes a lot longer to work. It seems to be the further down the leg you get, the quicker the impact of the kick lands. If you work the calf, you need maybe 2 or 3 good kicks, maybe sometimes 1 if you land correctly, to really do a lot of damage to that leg. As you come towards the knee and above the knee, it needs a few more decent shots before you really start to see the impact. Higher up the leg, that's a long-term investment. I mean, what I would say for Grasso is to mix up those targets. So she's working some low leg attacks, which will be available to her, given the fact that Araujo's right in front of her with that Muay Thai style. But she is also quite vulnerable to kicks. What we do notice about Viviane's style, though, is when she starts to feel like she's getting outstruck, which she may well do in this fight, more so with volume than anything else. If she starts to get outstruck in this fight, she might start to look to grapple. Like, she'll level change under striking combinations if Grasso's coming in with heavy boxing combinations, or if Grasso's starting to sting her with that kick. The higher up the leg it is, the easier it's going to be for Araujo to catch. She's very good at catching kicks and running her opponent to the floor, changing it into a takedown. This is where the fight might sway in the opposite direction. And I think that Araujo's got to use a little bit of MMA smarts in this one to beat Grasso, because Grasso's got good footwork, she's got good defense. They're the two things that stand out on the statistics. Strikes absorbed per minute for Alexa Grasso, 3.79, 5.13 for Araujo. She does get hit, and we have seen her hurt. Was it Andrea Lee dropped her? We saw her get dropped, but we also saw her wrestle back up into a recovery position. She does have that grappling to fall back upon, and I do feel like she's the more physically dominant fighter. She's got more of a bullying style, more of an aggressive kind of in-your-face Muay Thai style, which will also add on some power grappling with good jiu-jitsu at the same time. One other thing that's worth mentioning about Araujo, though, is that she was winning fights, stopping people in the beginning of her career, and since she hit the UFC, she won her UFC debut with a beautiful right hand against Talita Bernardo. Really, really nice punch, and made the most of Bernardo moving onto the right hand to knock her out. But since then, it's been all decisions, and they've been tough opponents. I mean, she's not had an easy opponent in the UFC, but I do feel like her stopping power has kind of hit its limit now she's on the UFC roster. I feel like the competition stepped up. The records of her opponents has considerably improved since she got to the UFC, both in experience and in the win column. Which means that, this may be a 5-round fight for her. It may be the first one of her career. And I don't question Alexa Grasso's ability to do exactly what she does for 25 minutes. Good defense, high guard, switching stance, basic boxing combinations where she doesn't particularly overextend herself and uses good lateral movement, because there's no point in engaging and trading punches with someone that's probably got, bigger, more powerful upper body than you, which I feel like is the case here. I think Grasso's going to be smart. She's going to use her footwork and her defense to drag this fight out longer and make Araujo work for anything that she gets. Araujo is quite happy to cover distance and, close her opponents down, but she is also quite reckless when she's doing it. She will be walking onto shots, I do feel. So then the question is, what does that do to her? Are the shots phasing her? Does she feel like she's getting hurt? Does she feel like she's getting embarrassed? Because that is another good reason to be more aggressive. Does she switch to a grappling game plan if she starts to feel like Grasso's getting the better of her on her feet? And that's where we see Grasso start to use that clinch work that we saw against Macy Barber. Good head position, ability to turn and hold up against the fence and work, shots to the body, knees to the body. Like this would be a very, very smart game plan if Alexa Grasso got in there with the game plan of exhausting Araujo for the first 15 minutes and just kind of flowing with the fight and not engaging too much. If she tries to enforce her game plan too much on Araujo, then she's going to be meeting that strength and power that I feel like she loses, her advantages in that range. Quick return to the statistics. So, takedown average, of course, is going to go to Araujo, more than 2 per 15 minutes. And a lot of the time she's level changing defensively, or she's under pressure and she decides to switch to a grappling game. She showed good grappling against good level grapplers like Caitlin Chukagian. I feel like she might be able to both technically and physically match Alexa Grasso on the ground. Now, Grasso's takedown defense is 60%. Which is, it's a decent statistic, but Araujo's takedown accuracy is 60%. So, we've got a good battle of percentages here. Someone's takedown percentages are going to give. On the flip side, Araujo's takedown defense is 90%. Like, I do feel like she can control this fight at whatever range that she wants to. It's just if she decides to keep it standing, or, if for whatever reason Grasso is able to stuff her first couple of takedowns or make her really work for them and tire her out, then it becomes a striking exchange. And again, Grasso goes back to being smart, keeping her guard up, switching her stance, nice basic shots, a couple to the body, and then chopping into that leg to stop that forward momentum from Viviane Araujo. I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to be a real test of Araujo's patience. I think she might get annoyed and a bit flustered and frustrated that Grasso's not standing and trading with her, and I think she might start walking onto things and being a bit reckless. But if she does start to mix in her grappling, that might be problematic for Grasso, and that might be where we see her become unstuck. Especially if Araujo is able to set the pace, then that 25 minutes starts to lean in her favor as opposed to Grasso's. Interesting one. All right, enjoy the fights. I'll see you next time.